Do you see how evil that is? I'm not asking for special treatment. That's the basic bare minimum.
But you're demanding even fatter representation. You're a hypocrite and you're a liar and you're an idiot. Hey everybody, it's Tony with Big T Bariatric and I'm back at you with another video, and today we're going to talk about Fat Supremacist more than Tracy T. She has more than 46,000 followers on TikTok, which makes her one of the more dangerous fat activists out there. She has a large following of people who worship her and think that she's the greatest thing since Lizzo. But in reality, she's just another fat activist idiot who gets online and spouts nonsense and BS. And that's why I'm making this video right now, is because we're about to call her out and call her out on her bullcrap. If you could do me a huge favor, look down below and see if you're still subscribed to my channel. I know YouTube has been unsubscribing people, and I've had people come back to me and say, Big T, I don't know what happened. I was subscribed to your channel and now I'm not. So look down, see if you're still subscribed. If you've never subscribed and you're brand new to my channel, please hit that button. I greatly appreciate it. Let's spread this message out there. Leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you think about this video. But for right now, let's get into her nonsense.
The fact that someone, recently Victoria, can come on here and say something like, fat people don't deserve to be discriminated against in the workplace. We don't deserve to be paid less or denied jobs due to our size. And for that to be an unbearably controversial opinion, nobody in that video is saying being fat is actually healthy and everything you thought you knew about it is wrong.
All right, but fat activists say that all the time, including you.
No one's saying every person in this world should be fat because being fat is objectively better.
Yeah, you do. You talk about that all the time when you say that we need more fat representation out there and that it's okay to be fat and there's nothing wrong with being fat. So, yeah, you do.
No one's saying you have to date fat people.
That's a flat out lie too. You know there's plenty of fat activists out there saying that if we don't want to date fat people, that it's the same thing as deciding not to date black people. That is discrimination, that is fatphobic, and etc. So stop lying.
No one's even saying you have to be friends with fat people. You don't have to seek them out. All they are saying is don't actually literally tangibly discriminate against people who look a certain way. And that is controversial. And people are like, no, how dare you? That's not true. We should be able to discriminate because all fat people are bad. Do you see how evil that is? I'm not asking for special treatment. That's the basic bare minimum.
I'm getting tired of this argument, and it's made all the freaking time. Yes, there are certain jobs that fat people cannot do that smaller people can do. Would I be able to work on an oil rig? No. But should I be able to go to an oil rig manager and demand my way on there and say, you better pay me as much money as you're paying these other guys, even though I wouldn't be able to physically handle the job? There's a store here in Michigan called Meijer, and I walked in one day because I had an interview. And the manager took one look at me and decided I was not able to do this job. And he asked me, he goes, do you think you could physically handle this job? And it was a stocking job. And I said, yeah, I could absolutely do it. And I was full of myself thinking that I could. And he said, okay, follow me. And so I followed him throughout the store. We walked for 5 minutes and I was visibly out of breath. And he proved his point that I would not be able to stand on my feet for an 8-hour shift and do that job. So he didn't hire me. And I walked out of there sore and out of breath. So no, fat people cannot do all the things that skinny people can do. No, you should not get paid the same amount as somebody else who can do that job. It's not discrimination, it's just absolute reality. You have priced yourself out of the economy. You have made yourself to the point that you cannot take on certain jobs. And the fact that you demand that you get those jobs as discrimination is absolutely ridiculous. It's not like we're deciding based on somebody's skin color whether or not they can do a job. It's whether or not you can physically handle that type of job, whether or not you can do the same quality job as a smaller person who has more energy and more strength and can actually do it. That's the difference here that we're talking about.
That's because fat phobia actually isn't about patriarchy or women. It's about hierarchy. The reason that people, and specifically men, are so threatened by plus size women like literally existing or doing anything or asking for anything, like for example, not to be treated like absolute shit, is because they cannot handle the disruption of the black and white, good and evil, like moral world that they believe that they live in. Because if one thing is destabilized, everything could be destabilized. And yeah, they probably do genuinely believe that like bad health shouldn't be promoted, whatever. They think that's what they really believe. They think their issue is that they can't stand to see ill health being promoted. But of course, ill health is promoted all the time by literally models who are probably not eating or are doing drastic things or having plastic surgery to look skinnier. And they don't have an issue with that. It's the hierarchy. It's the black and white, good and evil of fat people are bad and should be bullied, and we get off on the power trip of bullying them, and they do not want that taken away.
Come on, that whole hierarchy thing, it doesn't exist. I'm telling you that as a man. That good versus evil, oh, we just want to bully fat women, so that's why we pretend to care about their weight. Really? Is that what you really think? That's absolutely absurd. Models don't model because they're trying to attract men. They model because that's the expectation in the industry, and other women are attracted to that. Women see models wearing those clothes, and so they want to lose weight, or they want to try to fit into that healthy stereotype or whatever. Guess what? Most men that I know do not find that attractive. I personally don't find stick-thin models to be attractive. The women I find to be attractive are healthy. That's right, healthy women. Not the stick-thin, not the super morbidly obese. That's not what I find attractive. And I don't think you should be fat, whether you're a man or a woman. There needs to be somebody like me who's been through that, who's been almost 700 pounds, and is trying to warn you against the consequences of what you're trying to do. You're either going to get to a point where you realize that you need to lose weight because it's killing you, or you're going to die. That's it. There are no other options for you. That lifestyle is not sustainable for you. It is not sustainable. You're not going to live a very long time staying that size. And so we do generally care for you. We do generally want you to be healthy. We are generally more attracted to healthier women, not super morbidly obese and not super skinny.
Making all the Gilmore Girls characters based on whether they would date a fat person.
I'm not going to share that whole clip for obvious reasons. You know, they have the Gilmore Girls music in there. But are you freaking kidding me? You're going to rate Gilmore Girls characters based upon whether or not they're going to date a fat person? So to say that you know that this character or that character would date a fat person based upon some sort of fictional character personality, like that's absolutely ridiculous. If you didn't catch that whole thing, it's a pretty quick clip, but she's talking about how she's excited that there is more fat representation out there. But those who represent fat people are not truly morbidly fat. They have an hourglass figure or this or that, and it's like, she's complaining that the fat representation out there that she's been cheering for and wanting is not fat enough. That they don't exactly look like her. Like, seriously, you want more people who look exactly like you to be out there making movies, making commercials, being on TV, being on wherever, being on the magazine cover? Like, that's what you're looking for? They have to be your type of fat. They have to be even fatter than that. Maybe they're even too fat to even walk around. Let's get more people sitting on their couch eating potato chips. Is that what you're looking for? You need people to be even fatter because the fat representation out there is not fat enough for you? Are you kidding me? This proves your first video wrong when you're saying that we're not saying you have to be fat, but you're demanding even fatter representation. You're a hypocrite and you're a liar and you're an idiot.
Hi, as a reformed plus-size mean girl, I will say that yes, it is a thing, and I'm going to explain a little bit about why it happens. When you're part of a group that society shuns and says horrible things about constantly and portrays as disgusting and unlovable and just every terrible thing, it's very easy to become angry and bitter. And it is very easy to take that power that you have in another area and use it to squash other people, especially if they maybe look like some of the people who've put you down in your life, or some of the people you're told are going to put you down, or you're told are like in a better position than you in society. I am not making excuses for this. It's very fucked up. I'm just explaining the psychological reality of it. Intimidating people with their size is weird language. I don't think that I've ever done that. But really the impulse to be mean when you're coming from a background of being marginalized, it makes sense. And it's common with a lot of oppressed groups. For example, gay men are famously catty and mean to each other and enforce really strict body standards on each other. And they have had that done to them their entire life. So of course they're carrying it out in a space where they have a little bit more power. So when you are that marginalized group and you've spent your whole life being beaten down and told that you will never have anything worth having, essentially, and you get a little bit of power, it's very, very, very tempting to abuse it in whatever way you can. And I still note this impulse inside me and like have to actively notice it and take stock of it, because it's just so tempting to feel like you could hurt someone like they hurt you. It's very sad and it's very unfortunate, but this is not just a fat girl thing. This is not just a Lizzo thing. It's a very normal psychological response to spending your whole life being essentially shat on for your size, your sexual orientation, your race, like any or all of the above. People have these impulses inside them. They want to exercise power over others, and they want to feel like they can do damage. They really do, because that makes us feel powerful and like we matter. It's really a sad truth of the world, and I don't see this explored very much in media, because basically when groups want to be represented that usually aren't, we sort of have to like really cater ourselves to what people want to see, which is usually something apologetic or something like empowering. They don't want to see the ugly reality of what years of psychological damage will do to you, especially if you have a personality of somebody who wants to be a freaking pop star. I can't speak on the specific situation and I'm not defending it, but I think that if most of us were in that position where we had been marginalized our whole lives and then got some power, we would probably act like that too.
So you just pretty much proved one thing, that fat girls are a-holes, right? Like that's just what you said. You've been beat on and everything else, and you're sick and tired of it. So that's why you take any bit of power that you have and you turn into an a-hole and you bully people. Even people that have never hurt you in your life, but they might look like somebody who has hurt you before, or you think they might hurt you in the future. You have every right to turn around and bark at them and scream at them and yell at them because they might hurt you. And you don't see anything wrong with that. Do you know what? There's a difference between somebody who's been bullied because they're black, bullied because of their sexual orientation, bullied for any other reason. But if you're tired of being treated a certain way because you're fat, let me let you in on a little secret. You can change that. Yes, you can change your weight. You can lose weight so you get less bullied. You can change your weight so life isn't so difficult for you. You can change your weight so you can get that job that you want. You can lose some weight so you can get more representation out there, so more people look like you. Yes, everything that you've ranted about in this whole video and all the clips that I picked, you can actually change and do something about it without complaining about it, because you would rather stay fat. You would rather not have to do anything about changing your diet. You could still eat the thousands of calories that you want to eat and not make any kind of changes whatsoever. But instead, you're going to expect that society changes for you, because society is the problem and not you and your food addiction.
Let's talk about diet evangelism and why I call it that. Basically, diet evangelism, which I'm not sure if I coined or if I just like took it from some fat activist or some book I was reading, is basically the idea that like people have replaced religion with diets, or diet fills the place in their life that like religion might have filled if they were more religious. And so they see dieting as like a solution to all problems, and like their specific diet they're devoted to, they're like practicing it and they are spreading the gospel of that diet. So they'll come up to you and be like, oh my God, have you tried keto? I feel so much better. I'm so much healthier. My blood test is better and I have more energy and blah, blah, blah. Like they'll just like sell their one diet like it's the solution to all your problems because supposedly it fixed theirs. I definitely have had a lot of friends who have been diet evangelists and then many years later have like confessed to me that they realize now it was very disordered what they were doing. So if somebody is evangelizing their diet to you, take it with a grain of salt. It's also something that happens a lot at like family gatherings. So a lot of times like older white women are famous for doing this. They want to tell you their journey. And you're like, if you're recovering from an eating disorder or you're fat or you have like trauma around your body, like you do not want to hear that. Like it'll set you back. It's really, really hard to hear. So setting boundaries around it is very important. But that is why I call it diet evangelism, and it is out for 2024.
I've said this many times on my channel, and I know some of you disagree with me, but I think any diet out there works as long as there's caloric restriction. If you cut your calories down you will lose weight. Whether that's keto or Mediterranean or vegetarian or whatever diet you want to do. Whether it's Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig or whatever. Any diet that restricts calories, gets you to move a little more, it will help you lose weight. And guess what? If you are overweight and you are starting to develop issues because of your size, maybe your back starts hurting a little more, maybe you're a little more out of breath, maybe you're more susceptible to certain things, a lot of that has to do with the crappy food that you're eating. Yes, the refined carbohydrates, all the extra tons of sugar that you're eating, that impacts your body. It impacts your immune system. It impacts your heart. It impacts your lungs. And your poor liver processes all those things, right? And so if you're consistently eating crappy like that, day after day, month after month, your body's going to start to hurt. It's going to break down. It's going to get sicker and sicker. But guess what happens when you decide to change that and say, you know what? I want to go on a diet. I want to restrict my calories. I want to start eating cleaner. I'm going to start eating meat. I'm going to start eating vegetables. Maybe I'll get some fruits in my diet. Then you start to get the vitamins and minerals inside your body that you really haven't had in a very long time. So when you start eating cleaner, your body starts acting better. You start getting more water in your system, and your body straightens up and you start feeling better for a time. That's what happens when you go on a diet. You feel great. You're not overeating. You're not eating all that garbage anymore. Your body's getting what it needs to thrive. And when you start losing weight, you feel even more better because you could do a little more. You breathe a little better. You sleep a little better. You can go that extra mile and you feel okay with it. Yeah, at times that weight loss does plateau and people give up on it because they expect regular weight loss every single day, every single week. And when it doesn't happen, they give up on the diet. That doesn't mean that diets don't work. They do work if you keep up with them. You can't give up on a diet. That's the thing about it. You have to keep going until you get to your goal weight. I absolutely get it. It's difficult. I've been on many diets my whole life. I'm on a diet right now. I've already lost 12 pounds this month. Like, I'm doing really good on my diet. And I feel a whole lot better. I was starting to feel pretty crappy. Even sitting at an office desk, my back was really hurting me. That's what happens when you eat crap. And then when you start eating better, you start feeling better. That doesn't mean they become a food evangelist. They see that you're overweight too. They want to help you out. They want to help you get to the point where you start feeling better because maybe you just complain all the time. Look at your TikTok. All you do is moan and complain about your fat life and society treats you bad and you feel terrible and this and that has to do with your diet. It's not society, it's you, what you've done to yourself. And they realize that they can help you get to a point where you feel better about yourself, where you look better, where maybe you fit better in society, and then all these problems go away. So anyways, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know down below. I greatly appreciate it. That's my video for today. I love you guys. I hope to see you next time. God bless you.